Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today, I'm going to be doing a quick look at this TONSEN ARTTOYS Kid Boo. I finally got my copy. Oh my god, this is the most annoying, grueling wait I've had for a figure. I ordered it from Anime Store, and they still haven't even given it to me. This guy's from AliExpress. I pre-ordered the one from Anime Store, and they keep bumping it and saying as soon as they get shipment, they're gonna send it. And I've heard some people get theirs shipped and then it ends up getting stuck somewhere between shipping, and it's insane. They gotta fix it. I think that's the last time I'm ever gonna order from Anime Store. I'm just gonna get my stuff from AliExpress, which is funny because AliExpress started off like nobody being, trusting it really, but look at them, here they are now. Always the faster shipping, packages are coming a lot nicer. Look, this one didn't come too beat up, which is nice. I can appreciate a not, a nice intact for the most part box. So yeah, I ordered mine from from Omnime Store, and I still haven't gotten it. Um, but it's okay. I can wait. I can wait on it now. I'm not gonna be impatient anymore because I at least have my one here, and I wasn't planning on getting a second copy either. But I am gonna keep it. I decided he's that great of a figure that I'm gonna keep it. As soon as I did mess with it already a little bit, I opened it. I had to fix the QC stuff like that. And from what I saw already, it's definitely a gorgeous figure. And I said I'm gonna just keep the second copy. So this came from AliExpress, and I'm very happy that it did. It got here like within 2 weeks, so way better than Anime Store. I'm not ordering from those guys ever again. So we're gonna do that. Talk about all the QC. The one thing that's good about going last, because I think I'm the last YouTuber that got this, is that I got to see everybody else's perspective and how they progress with the articulation on the figure and things like that, and QC. So I'll have a better idea of what everybody put out there, and then I'll have a informed, uh, definitive look for this guy put out on mine. So that'll work out nicely. And then I will do a comparison between this guy right here. This guy was my filler for the Kid Buu figure, the Dragon Stars one. He was pretty cool, but definitely a big difference between these two. Like, this guy outclasses that one big time. But anyways, if that's your thing, that's fine. That's why I'm gonna put it out here for anybody that wants to see the scale or just comparison of what they look like. There's only like one other Kid Buu in existence that's figurized, and that one's okay. So let's get to it. All right, so like I said, we're not gonna do too much on what everybody else has covered. We already know this comes with a lot of head sculpts, a lot of accessories, which is amazing. I love this unique accessory here, where he's doing the taunting. I love it when they do unique accessories for figures, and this is definitely unique, as well as this blast effect here. That's really awesome. So I will at least show you guys the head sculpt so you guys can see them if you want to see them on, my pretty decently clear camera, right? So they're all beautifully sculpted. Like I said, the detail on these things, and the sculpting and the level of just everything that they did when it comes to the appearance, to the aesthetic, is just badass in my opinion. There's a teeth gritted, right? Look at that, he looks so damn evil. And here is the sleeping, right? So I did have a little bit. One thing I will say about the head sculpts real quick too, there was a little bit of excess plastic, like on the back part of the head sculpt here. You can see it right there. It kind of sticks out. I did have to cut some of that down on one or two of them. Not a big deal though. That's not a big problem to get this level of detail and likeness. It's I'm okay with that. And my favorite one of all of them, I love them all, but this one here is just, this is insane right here. I love a really good yelling or screaming head sculpt or faceplate. Sick. All right, so we're gonna try to go through this quickly. Like I said, if you don't like figures with QC, or you don't want to deal with it, or it's just not your thing, or it really annoys you, don't buy this figure. It has a lot of QC issues. Don't buy it. Switch off the video. Don't buy this figure. Um, if you guys are still here, 1 second. All right, sorry. So, like I was saying, he definitely had a lot of QC. If you're a QC type or it just bothers you, don't buy it. Like I said, wait for, Tamashi to make it with no QC. So otherwise, it does have a lot easy fixes. If having all the QC that came with this guy is the price to pay to actually have them, then I'm okay with that because the QC was easy to fix. Silicone oil will lube up all the joints. Um, and that's pretty much it. Once the joints are lubed up, the articulation that this guy comes with, it's pretty much there. It's set in place. You just have to lube up the figure, right? And then you're good to go, right? So I had to do the shoulders, the legs, the waist, and I also did do because the upper body was a little looser. I put a little bit of super glue on that joint. If you want to tighten something up, putting a little bit of super glue on a ball peg goes a long way. Let it dry, and then it makes the peg thicker, and then not so much on the looseness. So he's a lot better. And I also did something that most people don't do on their neck pegs. I've noticed in videos is that like his head was moving nicely on the ball peg right before. It was decent articulation, right? He can't look back, which is a bummer, but it's fine. Not a big deal. But I also lubed up the peg that goes into the neck, right? Once I did that, I was able to move as well. So now I got the neck peg moving and then this moving on the end of the peg on the top. So that's more all around articulation, and his head moved a lot better as a result. So that was really good right there. See that? So that's awesome. So, anyways, after I fixed all the QC, like I said, this one into the TONSEN ARTTOYS trunks, were the two most annoying QC riddle figures to fix. Right, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of work, a lot of concentration of sitting there, so I don't overdo it or I don't, you know, make sure everything's well oiled up. But I also did do the butterfly joint on this side. This one was fine, but I did it on this side. It was really tight. Once I did everything and everything was oiled and lubed up, the figure is amazing when it comes to articulation. So we're gonna do that real quick. Um, I think when it comes to the legs, I don't think he could have been any shorter without these legs, not being able to go anywhere. He's already a short guy as it is, right? Mm. I saw some guys saying that they wanted this guy to be a lot shorter, and when it comes to height and scale, I think they did him perfectly. I wouldn't want it any shorter, so I guess for anybody that likes this scale or height, we came out on top, right? I feel like the legs, if they were any stumpier, like I said, they wouldn't have nowhere to go, right? There's only so much leg there on this guy. He's tiny. So I think that's fine. Like I said, this was loose. I put super glue on it to tighten it. The torso, it was jangling now. Not, it still does a little bit, but not as much. Um, Articulation, like I said, shoulder joints, bicep swivel, elbows go about this much, right? The gauntlets do get in the way from going too much, which is fine. You need the gauntlets there. Same thing with the pants. Even if the pants were I don't know if the legs were a little shorter or longer. Either way, these pants will always get in the way of the leg going up because he has to have those pants, right? That's part of his thing. That's part of his look. So you can't sacrifice that the bulkiness of the pants and then try to get that in there. So that's not going to work. So that's why the legs, to me, are perfect. So like I said, neck moves all around better. Arms, I did glue the waist here, so this before didn't swivel right here. It does now. And then I also did do one more thing here. Let me show you guys real quick. I shaved down. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So this is where I put the super glue on the ball peg, right? On the upper half. This is the upper half. That way it tightens up in there when you plug it in, right? On that part of the torso. And then I super glued this side as well. I put a little bit on there so that it's a little snug here. You can see some of the residue on there. I don't know if you can see it, a little white. And that's what helped it overall. But the part that I shaved down pretty significantly was this piece right here. This is the mid piece, right? I ended up shaving this down from the bottom. Where is it at? Right here, right? I don't know if you can see it. You can see it right there. So you can see the shaving. I shaved it with the nail file. It was like down here, right? It was sticking down to down here. So I shaved it pretty evenly right here. so that when he ab crunches, it goes a little more in there. It wasn't a significant amount, but if you mess with it enough, you'll feel the difference. It definitely made it go and crunch a little more. I still might do a little more on this side too. I don't know yet. You see how that plastic hangs right there a little bit? I might shave that down there a little bit more so that overall it's just better movement. That's what I like to do. And when it comes to things like that, and it works out. So yeah, there you go. I ended up shaving this mid piece right here, and it's good because I stopped at the point where you can kind of see a little bit of a slight gap, but that's the maximum amount of gap. It's like a sliver, a barely a line, right? That's where I stopped because I didn't want it to be a big gap. But when you crunch, it crunches so much more. It feels a little bit nicer when you go down, so that's pretty good, right? I'm always messing with these things, like especially on Marvel Legends. I have a couple figures that I've done that to, where I shave the upper body. Like I have a Marvel Legends Gwenom, and you know how those things are. If you're familiar with Marvel Legends, they don't crunch down a lot. I shaved that down significantly, and she was able to crunch massively. So, anyways, torso articulation is great. I have no complaints after I adjusted the QC and tightened up with super glue, and of course shaved down that middle piece. Once you do all that, great ab crunch, great torso area, feels smooth as hell. Everything else from the waist up is great. Like I said, deal with the QC and it's there. Now, when it comes to the legs and trying to split them, okay, so when it comes to the legs, oh, damn, my light. Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. When it comes to the legs are great. In my opinion, they're great, especially for the short guy that he is. Um, there's not much more that they can get out of it, right? You're just not going to get much more. Um, but anyways, hold on, it's not even going in there as well. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so if you're gonna do the split like this, you gotta make sure that you tuck in that corner piece on the pants right here, right? You see how they're under the crotch piece? That thing will bump into the crotch piece and it'll either bend or bend and break eventually over time, right? Or it won't let you do a complete split like this. So you always gotta tuck in. He can do the split perfectly fine. You just gotta make sure you tuck in this little piece right here hanging out, right? That's the one. A lot of people didn't like the way that looked. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It does kind of get in the way. I mean, if I have to, I could probably shave it a little bit and it'll be fine. I'll probably do that. But either way, anyways, if you let them stand like this, yes, it does stick out on the sides. But if you fold it inward like that, it looks just fine, right? So that looks cool to me. So as far as the articulation goes on the split on the legs, it's as good as it's gonna get for a short guy. Like I said, legs go up that much. There's not much more to go. He's got bulky pants. You can't do anything else about that. In the back, there are some gaps here, and I noticed that some guys didn't go. They only pushed up to that much because the plastic piece from the upper piece hits that kind of like the calf pant area, right? But and I know I did notice some guys did figure that out. If you push forward a little more, it goes in a little further, right? It's meant to tuck in to there. You just got to make sure that let me see, does it go? There you go. You just got to make sure you tuck it in carefully, and it goes a little further in, right? It fully fulfills or fills that whole gap, right? So the difference between stopping there and putting it into the gap, right? You can see the difference. Look, right? That looks like it's gone in a little more, and this one a little less. So definitely get more out of that. I like that design. It's a pretty cool idea. It works for me. And then I did notice some guys saying that they, I think I saw it on a couple videos where um, they were saying that they wish that this would swivel, right? The boot cuff right here would swivel. Um, and then I started thinking to myself, wow, that doesn't make sense for TONSEN ARTTOYS to not add a swivel here on the boot, right? I feel like the quality just appearance wise, he's got so many details. But as far as articulation goes, they did so much to try to make it the best, give it the best mobility possible, right? They even set back the date. It just didn't make sense to me. I would think that they would give it a boot cut here so that it could swivel. So I think the problem was that it was stuck, right? You know how sometimes joints get stuck and you have to kind of move it a little hard and then it pops or it clicks out and then it moves freely, right? Like the paint getting stuck. So I feel like that was the same thing with these boot cuts, right? The paint was stuck, but it does definitely swivel all around. So let's put that definitely to rest. Definitely the legs swivel. Not a problem. I will say, like I said, they were stuck. If you kind of lightly move it, it's not going to move. I had to slightly, you have to know your strength, right? When you're moving these joints, um, a certain amount of strength is allowed, but when it gets to a certain point where you feel like you're using too much strength, right? You have to gauge it, then you do stop, and then you have to figure out another way. But yes, these were stuck, and once they did, like I said, they do swivel. The boot cuff swivels all around. Look at that. So with that boot cut, it makes it way more easier to articulate these feet, especially since the ankle rockers are not the greatest. That I will say. His foot does go down decently up. He's got the toe hinge, but the rockers are not the greatest, right? Because the boot gets in the way, right? It's good enough, but having this boot cut is a lot nicer and it'll help it out overall. So that's cool. Anyways, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, as far as articulation goes, I feel like for the size he is, it's great. Like there's no doubt about it. If I could pick one thing when it comes to articulation that I would have liked a little bit better, maybe the ankles. But like I said, the boot's in the way. I don't think there's much more they could have done to that, right? It definitely has the 3.0 tech, but the boot is just going to be in the way. It has to stay there as part of his design, his look, his appearance. So nothing you can do about that. So aside from the things you cannot control or do anything about because that's how his pants, his boots, his cuffs are, the articulation I think is great. It is um damn near perfect. I don't think there's much more that they can do. And when Tamashi does finally do theirs, I don't think that they're going to be able to do much more either as well. So let me do the size comparisons. All right, here we go. As far as height goes, I got a Goku here and a Vegeta armored, the recent one. And we're going to put Kid Buu right here in between both of them and see how he looks. Oops. Yeah, see, that just... Can you stop? Okay, there we go. Let's put that up, and there you go. Hold on. Man, I'm just bumping into everything. Okay, here we go. Let me turn on the light. All right, so there you go. When it comes to scale and size comparison, I think that is perfect. Um, yes, if they were somehow to get it maybe a very tad bit shorter and still make it work, that'd be fine too. But I feel like as far as the size goes overall, and then with what they can fit in these bulky legs because of the pants and the cuffs, they did great. QC aside, they did great. Hopefully from here on out, they keep doing great figures, and I hope that from here on out, they take care of that QC and it gets just better and better, just like everybody else. Let me put the other guy next to it as well. Here is the Dragon Stars Kid Buu. This guy had drop down legs. But you can see the big difference between this one and that one. This guy is definitely way, way taller, right, than the actual... Let me put him right there. He's definitely way taller. I was using him for as a filler for my, for my Majin arc. And he was cool. He looks cool. I ended up filling in the little black dots there because with a Sharpie permanent marker because he didn't come with that detail. But anyways, and there he is, a real thorough side-by-side comparison to the Dragon Stars Kid Buu. I'll try to put him as even as possible. There you go. So you can see there's a big difference between these two, right? Like I said, this here is the Dragon Stars Kid Buu, and that's the TONSEN ARTTOYS Kid Buu. This guy gets it perfect. As far as appearances or aesthetic, right, as most people like to say, the TONSEN ARTTOYS definitely blows this guy away easily, right? Big time. Just looks, scale, colors, right? This guy doesn't even compare articulation wise. But there you go. These two guys are completely different in size. There you go. And you know what? Even when it comes to the artwork, right? Sometimes we can't go by the artwork all the time, right? I feel like I also draw. I do artwork on the side, right? I put up a video to here and there before, for those of you that know. But I do drawing too. And I know when I first started drawing, I wanted my artwork to look a certain way, and it didn't. As I got better, I was able to get it exactly the way, I envisioned. So I feel like it's the same thing with some of these panels, right? In the Z era, right? Where the artwork was changing from the beginning as it progressed. It just got a little bit better every time. And you know, you're always gonna find a panel where Kid Buu looks this short, and I bet you can find a panel where he looks like he's got longer legs like this, right? It just depends, right? Anyways, it comes down to everybody's preference. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is a scale of these two right here. Dragon Stars, Tones and Art Toys. Give me a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.